Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. So excited. Just wanted to make sure you all can hear me. So excited that it's Monday. So excited to continue on our theme for the month of March, which is all around spring clearing. Spring clearing. So when we say spring clearing, we're swapping out cleaning, especially when it comes to your business, because your business isn't dirty. Your business doesn't need to be reorganized per se, but what we have to do is create space for new opportunities, create space for new clients, create space for the work that we want, create space for new team members, create space for expansion. The only way you can expand is if you have the space and capacity to do so. And so the next couple of weeks we're really going to be focused on actions that you can take to kind of create that space. So last week we talked about doing like a brief analysis and assessment. So how do you know if you've been an ass if you haven't done an assessment? So I gave you a really simple way to do that with the SWOT analysis, and to really do like a high level on where you are with your business. And so today that kind of brings me to the next 90 days. So what's your 90-day focus, right? The why is 90 days so important when it comes to your business? Why is 90 days such a pivotal time? So before I get into that, I have some special announcements. So this community is built specifically for our part-time coaches and consultants, or even consultants and coaches who may have maybe taken a break and need to jump back into it. So this community is here to support you. We have done it. So in the successfully space, when I started this business 5 years ago, I said it as a joke, and it turned into something. And while I was building it, I was working full time for the first like year and a half or so, right? And when it exceeded my corporate salary, that's when I said, okay, it's time. It's time. I don't have to go to work. And so I want the same for you. I want you to have your freedom and your flexibility. I want you to have control of your earning potential. I want you to build wealth. I want you to be able to not have to put up with the corporate shenanigans, game playing, or any microaggressions or day-to-day oppression at work. I don't want you to have to do that. I want you to live your best life, serve people at the highest level, and make a good living doing so. Okay. And so that's what inspired this community, and that's what we hope that you get out of it, that you get the support you need and the resources to make that possible. And so, with that, each one of you has a personal concierge. You have a personal concierge that is here to answer any questions, to point you in the direction of resources, and if you need to schedule time with me to help facilitate that, right? And so, if your first name begins with the letters A through M, Sai is your personal concierge. So, Sai, if you could just wave at the good people. If your first name begins with the letters N through Z, Lucille is your personal concierge. So you always have someone that you can connect with. You could always reach out to me directly as well. But we're here to serve. If it doesn't exist in this community, it may exist in our coaching programs. If it doesn't exist in our coaching programs, we have a incredible referral network. If we're not the best fit for you, we definitely can help you find the support that you need. Okay. And so, also, if you have had a consultation call with me in the last 30 days, I'm reaching back out to you because I ain't heard from y'all. Some of y'all, I should say. If you've had a consultation with me in the last 30 days, if you've had a call, stand by for a special email from me. I have a special spring clearing offer just for you. That's only if you've had a strategy session and we've talked about our program. There's a special offer coming your way, and so stand by, check your email for that, and reference back to your concierge if you have any questions or if you haven't received it yet. Okay. So let's talk about your next 90 days. Let's talk about why 90 days is important in your business, why you need to focus in 90-day increments. What's that all about? Okay. So I have 3 reasons why 90 days is important, and then I want to give you the 3 reasons why it's important, and then I want to give you some tips on how to focus your energy for the next 90 days. So let's just start with the 3 reasons why 90 days is important for you. Okay. Any business, any business, your business is always 90 days ahead of you. Your business, I'm going to say it again, is always 90 days ahead of you. And so the successes that you're experiencing right now have a are more likely rooted in actions that you took in November, right? Or any wobbliness that you're experiencing in your business, maybe as a result of taking your foot off the gas during the holidays, right? So your business is always 90 days ahead of you. And so for new entrepreneurs, new coaches and consultants, it's always frustrating because you're doing all of this work and you're not seeing the results, right? So I want to assure you that if you if you're starting, restarting, turning up the dials on something, you're trying something different in your business, that give it 90 days. Give it 90 days because there's a planting and harvest principle here that no one goes out and plants tomato seeds on a Tuesday and then expects to have fresh, juicy, ripe tomatoes by Thursday. It is a process and it requires consistency and work. So remember that your business is always 90 days ahead of you. And so, like, as we're kind of midway through March, we can really start thinking about what we're going to do in Q2. Knowing that it's probably going to really pop in Q3, that's not a hard and fast rule. There are some exceptions to that rule, but always know that when you are boom, 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 and you're lighting up the scoreboard, it's from actions that you took in the previous months leading up to those wins, right? Because it's not always like I take an action on Monday, then on Tuesday I'm going to get the reward. And so I think that's also important to note when you are struggling, when you're having a tough time, give yourself grace and space that you need 90 days to course correct. Also, if you are having a bang up time, keep staying consistent because your business may not look like this in 90 days, right? So you may have an influx of clients and you take your foot off the gas, you pull back on your outreach, and then you look up and you start having clients transition off, and now you got to kind of start that process all over again. So remember, your business is always 90 days ahead of you, and so that's why I really like to think in 90-day increments. I like to take track actions for 90 days. Really, that is just is what it is. So like you start and you're rocking and rolling right now, and you're taking action consistently, expect it to pop in June, right? Just expectation is just give yourself 90 days. The second reason why 90 days is important is the idea of habit formation and results, right? So even in your business, as a new, wherever you are in your journey, if you decide to switch things up, or if you decide to implement a new sales strategy, or you decide to implement a new outreach strategy, or whatever it is, you got to form some new habits around it. And I think when you're newer in your practice, you haven't quite outlined what works for you. So you haven't built the muscle. You haven't built the muscle to consistently see where the results, right? So just like you wouldn't like think that you could decide you're going to run a marathon and just go outside and run 27 miles or however long a marathon is, you have to give yourself enough time to develop the habits. And the thing is, I think there a lot of information floating around that it's 21 days to build a new habit. And the reality is like 33 to 66 days to develop a new habit. And that depends on the complexity of the habit, right? And so if it's not anchored to anything else, and then it's 90 days before you actually start seeing a result. So again, if you decide that you're going to do a new push, or you've decided that you're going to focus on a new client area or a new type of ideal client with a new offer, give yourself 90 days to develop the habit around selling that offer. All right. And now the third reason 90 days is important in your business is the concept around planning, testing, review. Planning, testing, review, right? Planning, testing, review. So when we think about our review, if you're looking at, um, if you want to really get a sense of how to plan out your next 90 days, look at the last 90 and really pull out what worked. Where'd the money come from the last 90 days? Work back from that. Like, did you do some speaking engagements? Did you write an op-ed? Did you reach out to a number of people? Did you ask for referrals? What did you do in the last 90 days that gave you really great results? Or what did you do that didn't work in the last 90 days? So you don't have to do that going forward, right? So that review the last 90 days to shape how you're going to plan your next 90 days, right? if you're going to start a marketing campaign, or you're going to start adding Facebook ads to the mix, or you're going to start email campaigns, or you're going to start a new funnel, or you're going to start getting out on the road and speaking, give it 90 days to test a new initiative, right? So if you want to if you're going to dabble in the world of digital marketing for your practice, start with a 90-day campaign, because it's going to take testing, iteration, all that stuff, right? And the same thing. So use it for a review, use it for initiatives, use it for planning. If you're going to launch a new offer, to your ideal clients, give yourself 90 days for that launch, right? So we think of 90 days to review, to look back on what worked in your business. Look at the last 90 days to see what worked, what didn't work. What do you want to shift? Use that data to inform how you're going to plan the next 90 days. Use 90 days for planning in terms of if you're going to launch something new. So give yourself that 90-day window to launch something new. If you have an event, it's your first event, maybe you need a little more than 90 days to market, plan, execute, right? If you're launching a new product or service, give yourself a 90-day window to launch it. And then the same thing with like testing. So if you're doing a new marketing campaign, or you're starting a new email push or whatever, that's a 90-day campaign. So give yourself 90 days. So that's 3 reasons why 90 days is important in your business. It is your business is always 90 days ahead of you. We are human, so we have to take into account habit formation and results. And then finally, 90 days is great for testing, review, and planning. So any new thing, if you're talking about you're going to do an event, please don't give yourself 2 weeks. Please don't give yourself a month. Give yourself that 12 weeks and or 90 days to do it. Give yourself the space and time and opportunity to be successful. So give yourself grace and space to be successful. And especially if it's your first time doing it, you might want to give yourself a little longer than 90 days. So that's the 3 reasons why 90 days is important in your business, right? So now that we're halfway through March and we're wrapping up Q1, we have enough data. We have enough data for the last couple months to really shape how we're going to move forward with the next 90 days for Q2, right? And this is a great time. You can do this in a couple hours, kind of create a roadmap. And I will say that if you need support, if you're not exactly sure how to map out your next 90 days, this is a great time to book a strategy session. It's a great time to reach out to the team and see how we can support you in trying to figure out what your next 90 days should look like. Okay. So what I would suggest, the first thing when we're thinking about our next 90 days, I want you to review the last 90. So that should take you from where we are right now to like December, right? If you're new, if you're just getting started, you can skip this part. Okay. Skip this part. But if you do have clients, I want you to kind of look at the last 90 days, because clients just don't happen, right? They just don't happen. So, like, where did they come from? To really track the money, was it an introduction? Was it a referral? Did you reach out directly? Did it come through LinkedIn? Was it somebody you already knew? And so, really examine the last 90 days. So, I want you to look at the revenue the last 90 days. And then I also want you to look at your actions. Now, if you're not tracking your actions, this is the light bulb moment I want you to really lean in on. If you're not tracking how many people you connect with daily, you're not tracking how many consultation calls you get scheduled, you're not tracking how many proposals you send out, and you're not tracking how many clients you convert, how many people you convert to clients, I really want to encourage you around that. And again, if you need support on this, reach out to our team about it, because oftentimes when we don't see that big shift in our business, it's because we're not knocking over that first domino, right? So we're not connecting with enough of our ideal clients to book enough of the consultation calls, to get enough of the proposals out, to get enough yeses, right? To get enough yeses. Okay. So I want you to kind of just examine the revenue, examine where the people came from, and then examine the quality of clients, right? So of the new clients that you got in the last 90 days, were they people you were really excited about or not so much? And just kind of these are all things to think about um, when you're planning for the next 90, right? So the way that I approach 90 days is just have one big thing you're going to focus on, right? So one big goal. So like usually I have one big goal for the year, and then I chop that into smaller bits, and that's the one thing I'm really focused on per quarter. Now, the reason why I say one, and you got enough to do with your full-time job, with your family, and your business. I don't want you to be chasing white rabbits, like trying to do too much. Doing a lot or trying to launch multiple businesses at one time is a great way to not make any money. So what I'd ask you to do is to really think about, what do you want to accomplish by the end of Q2? And identify the what. So list everything out, and then think about impact. So what's that one thing? What's that one thing that will have the biggest impact on you personally, that'll have the biggest impact on you professionally? And then think about that one thing that you're going to focus your energy around. There are three priorities that you need to outline to really examine to help you achieve that one big thing, right? So if the big goal in a business, is usually a revenue goal. If your big goal is revenue driven, right? So you want this amount of revenue. And so what are the two ways you're going to get there, and what's the one way you're going to take care of yourself, right? So when I think of my three priorities, there's two big actions that I'm going to drive forward, two big things that I'm going to focus my energy on to drive revenue, and then there's one thing that I'm going to do for myself to stay healthy. And so I want you to think of, in the next 90 days, what's that one thing you're going to focus on? So one thing you're really going to accomplish. And then what are the two big things that'll get you, the 2 to 3 priorities that will get you there? So now if you set a revenue goal, right? And you say to me, I need to, in the next 90 days, I need to get my website up. I want you to rethink that. Because what does your website have to do with revenue? Unless you have an e-commerce business, your website is a digital business card. It shows that the lights are on. A simple landing page will do. Unless you are building a whole community and a blog and blah, 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 your website is not something that's going to drive revenue, right? At least not right now. If you say, I have a revenue goal of X amount of dollars, and you say, okay, I'm going to launch a group coaching program. Okay, we can do that in the next 90 days. Or I'm going to add 3 new one-on-one clients. All right, we can do that. And then we can get into the actions that you're going to take to make that possible, right? So like for me, it is scale our group coaching. And scale our group coaching, so we have an aggressive goal towards how many new people we want in that program. And then sell out my one-on-ones will be sold out by the end of the quarter. But like that was my 2 priorities for Q1, was like group coaching, one-on-one coaching, sell out one-on-one coaching for the year. I got 2 spots left in my one-on-one coaching for the year. Right? And so that's how I want you to think about it. And so first, look at your last 90 days. Look at the revenue. Look at your actions that you took. If you attended a conference, if you were out networking more than usual, if you did a speaking engagement, whatever it is that you did, take all of that into account. Look at the quality of clients that you had. If you didn't have any clients, look at what you didn't do. So if you didn't consistently reach out to people, or you didn't consistently have consultation calls, what can you do to shift that next quarter, right? And then I want you to think about, okay, like what is the big thing? What's that one thing? What's that one thing? And of that one thing, what are your 3 priorities to accomplish that one thing? So if your priority is to launch a group coaching thing, what are you going to do? You're going to do some marketing, right? You're going to do some partnerships, and then you're going to make sure you ride your Peloton every day, right? And so that's what I want you to kind of think about. And again, if you want support on mapping out your next 90 days, we're happy to do that for you. So again, Reach out to your personal concierge. If your first name begins with the letters A through M, Cy is your concierge. If your first name begins with the letters N through Z, Lucille is your concierge. And just to recap what we spoke about today, there are 3 reasons why 90 days is so important to your business. First, your business is always 90 days ahead of you. So we always got to keep that in mind in our planning processes, that our business is always 90 days ahead of us. And the second thing is that we're human. So we need to form new habits and results. So we need to form new habits and do things long enough so that we can get the results. And then finally, we need 90 days to test, review, and plan. So if we are launching a new initiative or launching a new program, we need 90 days to do that launch. If we're trying to figure out how to plan for the next quarter, we need to review the last 90 days. If we're going to bring on we're going to launch a new marketing program, we need to give that 90 days to be successful. Okay. And so, in addition to that, after you use your 90 days, you think about your 90 days, I really want you to focus on one thing. What's the one big initiative that you're going to take on in Q2? What are the priorities to get it done? What are the 3 priorities to get it done and make it happen? And if you need support on just planning that piece, reach out. We are so happy to support you. We're so excited. We've used this method to scale our own business as well as how we work with our clients. And so, really, let us know if you're stuck with that planning process. We're happy to support you. You can reach out to your concierge, or you can skip the line and go ahead and book a call at successability.com/call. Like I said, I am happy to support you in this area to make the next 90 days the best 90 days in your business. Okay. Once again, I am Keita Williams. I am the founder and chief strategist of Successability. Let's get after it.